Good morning. I'm happy to welcome you all to today's Smarter NC webinar. And I'm going to turn it over today to Phil Mintz, is the Executive Director of NC State's Industry Expansion Solutions, to begin the webinar. Phil?
Great. Thanks, Susan. Good morning, everybody. Susan mentioned I'm Phil Mintz. I'm the Executive Director of Industry Expansion Solutions here at NC State. I'm also a co-PI for the Smarter NC grant that I'm going to be talking about today, along with our colleague, Jason Lowe. The term Smarter NC is an acronym for something bigger. Smart manufacturing adoptions to realize transformative energy reductions for North Carolina. And that's a mouthful, but we'll get into what that means as we go along today. We are serving at NC State here as a partner with the North Carolina Department of Commerce, the Science, Technology, and Innovation Division, and we're working together on this Department of Energy grant. Again, this is a disclaimer here about the program that's required to show, and we'll get into the details of how the program works and how you might be able to participate if you're a manufacturer. So just a high-level overview, back in the 2023, the U.S. Department of Energy awarded us this 3-year award to help smaller manufacturers get involved in smart manufacturing technology. Historically, again, as technology advances, you all know this probably, that our smaller industry companies have more difficulties getting started with it, getting involved, and in many cases, they don't even really know what's going on with these things. And so the goal of this program is really to help some of our North Carolina manufacturers kind of get off zero in many cases, and others to expand and grow and leverage the latest in technology so that they can help increase productivity and also reduce costs, including uh, energy costs, which is the Department of Energy's focus area. So again, we're tied with the North Carolina Department of Commerce program, and we at NC State we've been operating our extension program since 1955, and we also are a grant recipient of the North Carolina Manufacturing Extension Partnership Program, which is a outreach to manufacturing industry, mostly smaller, that's been around since 1988. So we have a lot of activity already going on in manufacturing, and this is just a new thing that we want to do for those organizations in our state. Um, we also have other partners that we're wanting to bring into the program are already using. Again, the lead program partners is us in the Department of Commerce. However, we have energy specialist partnerships with the North Carolina Clean Tech Technology Center here on campus, Land of Sky Regional Council Waste Reduction Partners Unit, and also the Carolina Utilities Customers Association, or CUCA, and they're helping us provide energy assessments where appropriate to help you understand what your energy use is and how maybe some of these projects can help mitigate some of the costs associated with running your production operations. And again, our key partnership for this whole program is you. If you're a small to medium-sized manufacturer, we want to help you. We want to know about what you're trying to do in technology, and we want to support your expansion or growth or updates to your production operations, leveraging some of the smart manufacturing technology that Jason's going to talk more about later. Again, targeting smaller manufacturers. Some of these are redundant. I'm gonna have to work on this deck here. We keep saying the same thing, but the goal is to increase the awareness of these programs and other things that help manufacturers implement smart technology. So here's our objectives. One, get out here and identify small to medium-sized manufacturers, understand what they're doing in their operations, and understand the challenges they may have in productivity and efficiency, and provide some targeted technical assistance that helps them make decisions on implementing some of the later smart manufacturing technology. So after we understand them, then we'll work together with them to increase that awareness and defined implementation programs that the grant can support. And we'll use those grant award dollars to help support some of the costs to implement these programs and reduce energy consumption as a byproduct of that. Targeted audience is our North Carolina manufacturers far and wide. In fact, a application came in just this morning from Ashe County, which is kind of out west, and so we're hoping to reach our smaller manufacturers all across the state. But again, there's some industries who use a lot of energy, and of course, our Department of Energy would be more interested in those. But again, we will prioritize those, but we're not limited to these heavy energy using companies, but we would love to help you implement some technology that will reduce your energy costs as a part of this program. So we're looking for manufacturers, one, uh, and two, those who could really benefit from technology that would help them reduce energy. So what companies might fit this effort? Well, again, if you're planning for a new technology implementation but have not started yet, that you're a candidate for this program, because we need to be involved in what you're going to do before you get started, before you start spending any money. If you're planning for an expansion near term, the project ends before too long, so we can't really be a part of some long-term project that won't end before early 2027. So if you're ready to expand now and you're really getting started, ready to get started, that's you want to talk to us about what you're trying to do, especially if it includes buying updated technology. If you need increased production output or significant decrease in production defects, smart manufacturing technology is here to help you. Uh, Other things, if you're struggling with unplanned machine downtime, there's technology out that will help you in that regard. And again, we all understand the challenges we have with labor. If you're struggling to try to maintain assembly labor, there are some things out there that the grant can support that may help you um, with that as well. So that's just to give you an idea of what you might be able to use this technology for. You'll see up at the right-hand corner a QR code. You can apply right now if you use this code. That'll get you directly to the application that gets you to the smart manufacturing application. Again, the application takes only like 5 minutes. So maybe if we're lucky, some of you will complete the application by the time we complete the webinar. So I'm going to turn it over now to Jason Lowe, who is our Smarter NC Technical Project Manager, Process Engineer Extraordinaire. He will be talking to you about what smart manufacturing is and get into some of the details of what types of projects may be helpful to you that the grant can support. So Jason, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Phil. So, welcome everybody. We've been going on visits for a few months now, and we've learned a lot of things ourselves. So, hopefully, as these conversations move forward, you're going to learn not only about what smart manufacturing is. Maybe you've already started your trajectory down that path, but we hope to share some other stories that we've encountered already. Because we are here to help small and medium-sized manufacturers, and a lot of those manufacturers have the same stories to tell. So I'm going to start with what smart manufacturing is. It is a buzzword, and if those who've been in this long enough can remember, lean manufacturing, that was a buzzword back in the 80s and 90s, and it kind of stuck around. Lean Six Sigma, that's kind of stuck around. But really it all goes back to best practices, right? So if we look at Lean Six Sigma, that's all about use of statistics. If we look at lean, those are all things that really rely on good industrial engineering fundamentals. So I tend to look at this because I'm an industrial engineer, I'm an electrical engineer, and that kind of in that marriage of those two fields, that brought me to automation, and that's my passion, especially when I talk about smart manufacturing. It's going to mean different things to different people. Smart manufacturing, by some definitions, are about information, event-driven, efficient, and collaborative orchestration of business, physical and digital processes within plants, factories, and across the entire value chain. Well, what does that mean? Again, it's open to interpretation, but the way that I look at it is it's everything that starts at the front end and ends at the back end. If you know a component that comes in your door as a raw material, perhaps, and ends up being processed and goes out as a unit that you sell. So everything that happens in between those 2 points, smart manufacturing touches upon, and that includes a lot of business systems as well. So when you look at this list about smart manufacturing benefits, when we talk about efficiencies and productivity and things like that, they feed each other, right? So if we can monitor equipment, if we can automate processes, that all relies on data, right? So we've all heard about the use of AI to help us in our daily lives, but we can also use AI and chatbots and things called agentic AI systems to help us make better business decisions. And that also ports into smart manufacturing as well. Waste reduction. So a lot of these things, for those that have done things with waste reduction, the 8 great wastes of production, these are things that aren't new. They've been around for a long time. So predictive maintenance, we've all heard about this lately too, especially with the use of AI, being able to look at data that we have and able to make proactive decisions on things like maintenance. Because preventive maintenance is great, but being proactive about something that doesn't necessarily fall onto a traditional schedule can help save us money in the long term. Things about making things more agile and flexible. So again, using data, everything is going to come back to the truth, and that truth is supported by data. And then lastly, energy systems and energy savings. That's a great part of this particular project, this grant. We want to talk about efficiencies and productivity improvements in relation to how they can be related to energy, the waste of the world, or the waste of production. And that can also include things like lights and heating and ventilation and things like that too. But process energy is a great consumer, right? So we want to put eyes on your processes and get an understanding of what wastes are happening energy-wise as well in your processes. Next slide, please. So smart manufacturing has basically 5 pillars, and I won't give weight to any particular one, but I will say that the thread through all of these is data. So there's a great management thrust to this, is your culture, right? And your workforce. And those are probably more soft things when we have these conversations. And a lot of what we're doing is looking at the data behind it. So the connection of systems, One of the tenets of smart manufacturing is to bring these disparate types of systems together, bringing data across walls, if you will, and having systems talk to each other. And I said in the beginning, this end-to-end type of analysis, and that really speaks to supply chain, having a resilient supply chain, and that goes to the connected systems as well, where we want data to go both directions, right? So we want to be able to identify things that happen up the chain and have those things that happen up the chain be very proactive and affect things down the chain, right? So we want that a resilient supply chain. We know how that affected a lot of us through things a few years ago, and that really has come front and center. Next slide, please. So the targeted areas of smart manufacturing, these are things that we'll have a conversation about. And the ones that are boxed are really the things that I think we spend the most time on. And quality control is certainly one of them. And we can go back one slide and look at that. So things like the waste that happen, but also the waste around quality systems, you know, whether we're over processing, whether we're sampling too much, whether we're handling things too much and inspecting things too much, or we're missing those things because of human error, which could lead to extra work, extra rework of things or processing and scrap. So quality systems is certainly a highlight of smart manufacturing. We want to influence things going out the door, making sure that our customers are happy, but we also know that those things can create a lot of waste within our own facilities too, and that waste can be in the form of energy, extra labor, extra effort. So quality is really one of those areas that we spend a lot of time on, and that's kind of an overarching thing from front to back. Let's go ahead, 2 slides. Process optimization. So we talked earlier about some, you know, efficiencies and productivity. We typically with a lean mindset or an industrial engineering mindset, we're always looking to optimize our production. And it's one of those carrots that we chase and we sometimes never capture. So it's kind of like what I equate to balancing production systems. We balance one thing and it upsets the balance in something else, and we have to pay attention to something else. But here, you know, things like equipment utilization, certainly people utilization. These are things that are very kind of ingrained in industrial engineering methods. Sometimes we can do this through simulation and find out where there are wastes in the means of production. Methods, again, something that is very traditional. We find that in some of these conversations that we're having, that people don't have documented methods, or they're antiquated, or they haven't changed. They need to change. And a lot of that digital strategy, the making things automated, sometimes through software, allows for things like even methods to be something that we touch once and really don't have to pay too much attention to. But it's critical because as we have labor issues, people moving in and out of jobs, or we want to do some sort of cross-training, having accurate methods is critical and can reduce a lot of time and errors. And energy, we all always want to think about energy as being what we come back to for this project in particular. Looking at the waste, and I spoke of that earlier, looking at process waste and energy. And some of those things are very easily derived or extracted from even our visits, our first visits. We can see some of these things and perhaps help you right off. And this is where we have an energy assessment component, and Phil will talk about that as well at the end here. Let's go ahead and go to the next slide. And I also spoke earlier about being proactive about our perhaps maintenance strategies. This is something that I think a lot of people are capturing the idea in that it's great to have this, I'm going to go in and repair this motor or look at this motor every month and have my maintenance crew on a schedule to go ahead and address looking at, vibration and bearing issues with these motors that are real critical pieces of my process. But is that wasteful? Is that necessary? Do I need to stop production or slow production or have maintenance crews come in on a third shift to address some of these things that may not need to be addressed? Or what happens on the other end of it where things break unexpectedly and we didn't really anticipate that they would ever? So we can see that DOE has come up with this figure that we can be up to 40% more efficient or savings, have greater savings by having something that is more proactive than it is reactive. Let's go ahead. Progress. Thank you. Inventory control. Next slide, please. So we see a lot of even again in this early stage of this grant, we see a lot of inventory control opportunities, and that can go from things that are considered work in process, WIP. Do we know where everything is in our process? Likewise with the raw materials, the material tracking. Do we know where all of that raw material is at any given time? Are we short? We typically have these ERP systems that guide us with this information, but we go back to that one of those pillars as being being connected systems, right? So are things that are happening on the plant floor, our shop floor control, talking to things like ERP systems? Do we know where that raw material is that we need? And supporting all of that is material handling, right? So we, in most companies that we go through, we find that there are people moving carts, or there are fork trucks moving pallets, and that is in I guess these modern days of manufacturing, it's still a necessity, but are we wasting effort? Are we delivering things to a line with less efficiency than what we hope for? So material handling, and some of this you've probably heard of AMRs, which are mobile robots. Sometimes we can even people that haven't had any familiarity with robots can look at things online and find that there are opportunities with using some simple things like carts, automated carts, or automated material movers like robots. So we even look at that, and those things can come to light very, very fast and easy when we have walkthroughs. Let's go ahead. Next slide, please. And like I said, this all comes back to data collection. I look at that as being the backbone, and probably should have been the thing at the first slide that we had. But uh, real-time data collection is the thread through all of this. Next slide. So when we look at these projects, when we develop these projects, it really does come down to finding, are we getting the correct data captured? When we find that we are identifying the correct data, are we retrieving it fast enough? Is it coming back to us as accurate data? And do we know what to do with it in the very end, right? So we find that we have these data lakes that form. So these data lakes have a tremendous amount of data, but nobody knows how to treat the data. So we're helping our clients with that as well. Next slide, please. So these next three slides really talk about that, and again, back to connected systems and being able to remote monitor our systems. So the dashboards are again another great way to look at things remotely, not just from a management perspective when we're looking at things in the boardroom, but also on the production floor as well. Having people know how productive they are in real time is a great productivity and efficiency that we can all learn from. And a lot of that is having accurate data that's being able to be presented in front of our critical personnel, our operators, because they are able to react very quickly to something that is put before them in graphical form, instead of waiting for somebody to tell them or waiting for the end of the shift to know that they're falling behind. So dashboards are a great instrument that is part of smart manufacturing. And again, back to condition monitoring, we're able to do things remotely. So this underscores the fact that you don't have to be on the plant floor all the time. And that can be also from a maintenance perspective as well, where I can be, and people have used SMS for quite a long time with alarms, you know, even back when we all had pagers, right? So we know when something goes wrong, but we'd like to know beforehand, right, when something is going to go wrong. So we like to have these things that now we can put on our phone as an app. Next slide, please. So again, back to the pillars of smart manufacturing. I want to go to the next slide and have you think about really those ideas that we just talked about in my portion of the talk here around waste reduction, efficiency, productivity, being flexible and agile, having these end-to-end communication streams, and in effect, you know, all of this relates back to energy savings, but we also have a component that looks at some of the things that are more relevant to or immediate to energy savings, like lights and AC and compressed air and things like that as well. So as you go back and think about what projects that might qualify for the grant and might be, you know, under this umbrella of smart manufacturing, I think this is a great summary of what I just talked about. Think of it in these little pools, right? How can I be more productive? How can I reduce waste? How can I be more adaptive and flexible in what I do? So with that, I'm going to end. This will you'll have this slide set, so these will be active links that you can use to go back and look at some of these interests of smart manufacturing.
All right, thanks, Jason. So let's get into how the program works. Jason's talked about all of the different areas that we could look at and maybe have some solutions that will work for you. But what is the process? What are the steps to get involved in this is what I'm going to be going through right now. So step one, fill out the application. That's what you do. I mean, if you're a North Carolina manufacturer and you believe that you might have an opportunity for one of these projects, take a few minutes to fill out the application. Give us a little more about what you do in the application, where you're located, give us a contact, and then we'll reach back out to you and try to plan an initial visit if you qualify as a North Carolina manufacturer. That's a smaller manufacturer. And again, small manufacturers in our definition is under 500 employees or less. So that's pretty much everybody is small except for just a handful of companies in our state. So we look at those applications, and again, we'll see once we see that you meet these initial qualifications, being in the state, smaller, we'll put together an opportunity to come out and visit and confirm what we um, see on the application. Kelly has a question. The 500 or less is sites specific, and if so, not the overall company. So again, a multinational company with sites everywhere. If you got a facility in North Carolina that's 500 or less, you qualify. Um, We'll verify the application and we'll go in and what we're looking for in the initial visit is really mostly commitment to doing something. Again, that's what so if you're willing to spend some money on this project, I mean, this project has some reimbursable, there's some matching involved, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But we're looking for the coalition of the willing to do a project right now. And so we'll be talking about what can happen for you right now or in the near term and see what kind of commitments you have to that. And then from these initial walkthroughs, if it appears that you are really ready to invest and you just need some support in doing a project, then we'll do a deeper dive for some of you. We'll do some comprehensive technical assessments. Jason will come out and help you dig deeper into your processes. And we'll also schedule you for an energy assessment related to what we're looking at, and also just to look at your facility. And so as a part of this activity, we'll help you kind of put together what type of a project that you might be able to do. And again, we don't do the projects. You manage those projects with the third party as necessary. And then we just agree to support a portion of that project. And again, we only support with this grant non-equipment costs. So you have to own the equipment that you're going to purchase. And again, a lot of your costs are not equipment costs. It's integration costs, it's training, it may be shipping, it may be infrastructure upgrades. There are a lot of things associated with implementing technology that's not the actual piece of equipment that does the thing. So again, we'll work with you on what the project looks like, and we'll work together to approve what we would reimburse. We certainly want to look for higher energy use projects, but again, it's not a requirement because we know if we improve your productivity and efficiency, you will conserve energy. So the next step is, what will we reimburse? Well, you have to match 30% of the project cost, and that could be the cost of equipment. But I mean, in some cases, the equipment cost is maybe smaller than the integration cost. So we'd have to look at all of that. But again, this is a matching program, and so you have to put the project together, complete it, pay for it, and then submit your billing and evidence of that you paid for it for us to reimburse the the cost of the project. We don't pay third parties, we pay you. We reimburse you for what you've spent on the project. And so here's some examples. Again, if it's a $20,000 total project, at the end of the day, we can reimburse up to 14,000. So we can reimburse 70% of the project cost up to 25,000. We want to help a lot of companies and we don't have a whole lot of money. But you can get a lot done with the reimbursement of 25,000. So again, but you have to invest at least 30% of the project cost for us to be able to work a project. So what else do you have to do? Well, again, you have to submit your proposal for the project, itemize the labor and materials that are going to be expended in it. Again, a lot of this can come from whatever third party you're working with to get this done. And so we can have an indication of what you're going to spend on the project. Again, those equipment and non-equipment costs would need to be those line items would need to be itemized so we'll know what we can support. Since this is money coming from the government, you're going to need to have a unique entity identifier. Those of you who work with the government already would know what that is. It used to be a DUNS number, but now it's something a little bit different. So you need to be able to receive government money because this is, at the end of the day, money that's government money that's covering this. And you need to have a routine procurement review process in place. So we need to know how you decide on who you're going to buy stuff from. So we need to understand what your process is of selecting third parties and buying equipment. So that needs to be understood. And then there's an environmental questionnaire that DOE requires. It's a simple form that you would need to send out as well. And then at the end, you just need to submit evidence of paid invoices for the approved and completed project. And get that to us before the grant ends in 2027. So we need all the evidence of approved invoices and payments before March 15th, 2027. Because if the grant ends and we haven't paid you, then you can't get paid. So it'll be helpful that you go ahead and work on something now while we're early in the program to get those projects done. Here's a copy of the front page of the application. Maybe some of you have already gone here and filled it out. Again, we're looking forward to getting your application, interacting with you, seeing what you're doing in your factory, and learning what it is that we can help you with. Again, here's the QR code and a link that you can go to, and you will have copies of these slides if you need them for more detail. Jason and I are available through the website or emails or through reach back out from this. These are the links to actually find out more about us and the program. Again, get the application in. That's how you get things started. All right, so we're down to the Q&A. We've already answered one question about what's a small manufacturer. Are there others?
Phil, there is one question. Is can one company that has multiple locations qualify per location?
Yeah, that's something that we're going to need to limit at least at the beginning. Where we're trying to serve as many companies as possible. So we don't want to spend multiple projects on one company unless we get closer to the end and we have extra money. So the answer is no early, but hey, we want to spend the money and help. So if we don't have enough projects to complete, and we get close to the end, we can circle back and see if you have something else.
All right. My next question, does this apply to solar?
That's a good question, Jason. I mean, and what does it mean? Are you a facility that want to implement solar? Is that what you're saying? If that's the case, there are other programs that support that. These are process improvement programs. It just depends on how you're using solar to improve your process. So I'm guessing if you trying to just improve your energy costs by installing solar, then you probably should use another program. There's still energy efficiency programs out there. It's not for this program.
Next question, Phil, is we don't make a product, we provide a service, remanufacturing. Does that disqualify our company from eligibility?
Probably not. Let's take a look at what that is. I mean, remanufacturing does have manufacturing in it. If you have a NAICS code that includes manufacturing, we should be able to look at a project there. So I wouldn't rule it out.
Phil, that's the last question I'm seeing, but let's give folks another minute or two. I will remind you all that we'll send out an email that will include the recording and PowerPoint and the links to the Smarter NC website and the application. Again, look for that coming out in the next day or two from the IES Zoom user account. Let's see, Phil, we got a couple of things. Can you give a few concrete examples of what money can be spent on?
A couple of them actually came across today. If you have transportation costs for the equipment that you buy, that could be allowable. Another one, if you have infrastructure costs, you got to bring in electricians in to upgrade your facility. You have to pour some concrete. You got to do some upgrades to the facility just so you can use the new equipment. Those are costs that would be covered. And again, if there's training costs to get things up to speed that's not covered by the company that can be itemized, we can actually look at those as well.
Next question. Can this program be used to implement a software package to improve business efficiencies?
Uh, we want to, I mean, if the software is tied to some data collection hardware, we can help with kind of getting things installed up front, but we won't be paying for any maintenance of the software. You know, often software programs come with a monthly charge or annual charge. We won't be doing any of that. But again, the initial upfront, getting the software established to read the data that you're collecting now or making decisions on, or can be an allowable expense.
Okay, do we have any other questions for Phil and Jason?
Are there any completed applications now? I have questions for you.
Phil, I'm
Who,
monitoring that and there are no applications that
all
are put
right.
in yet.
So who's going to sign up is the question I have for you. We'd love to come and visit your company and see what's going on. I mean, you know, our visit is no obligation to a project. So, but again, if you are looking to invest in technology, we'd love to come in and look at your organization and see how we can help. All right. Scott says he thinks that they're going to do it, and we're happy to see that.
Great.
Oh, now I actually noticed a couple of names that we may already have applications on. So, you know, if you've already sent in an application, just reach back out to us if we haven't engaged you yet, because we still, I mean, those applications are still good because again, we've had a few applications in and we haven't really been able to make a connection or move forward. And so again, and again, early the program had some hiccups at the beginning, so we may have lost some contact. So you don't have to reapply if you've already applied. Just reach out to us and ask us to revisit your application.
Great. The recording will be available for everyone. Again, you'll get that in an email. It will also be on the IES website. As soon as that finishes processing, we'll get that sent out, probably in the next day or so.